We're back here at U.S. Cellular Field, where it's time to show you the skipper Ron Gardenhire's batting order this evening, brought to you by Southwest. Tyner, Bartlett, Hunter, Morneau, Kadir, Jones, Boucher, Heinz, and Punto. Javi Vasquez, 11-8 with a 3.91 earned run average, 240 opponents have hit against him this season. And take a quick look at his Rico defensive setup as we approach the first pitch in this ball game. Beautiful night. Perfect night for baseball. Rain was here briefly prior to the game. It exited, and we're ready to play ball. Take a look at the umpire rotation. And it is 7-11, and time for the first pitch tonight's game. Time start is presented by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. To pass along to my partner, Ken the Hawk Harrelson, with the play-by-play.
All right, DJ, thank you. And the first pitch of the ball game to Jason Tyner is taken for a strike from the 30-year-old right-hander Javi Vasquez. Javi, 11-8, 3.91 ERA. As you look at the numbers on Tyner, 30-year-old outfielder. Outfield swung around to the left. And the count 0-2. All right. We got 22 games left, counting this one. We got 198 innings left. Let's play some baseball for the 198 innings.
I love your enthusiasm. I'm right there with you.
No, you're not.
Oh, I am. Maybe even a notch above.
Denial.
Great river.
And there's another souvenir. Sox have played Minnesota 12 times this year, and we have won 5. Twins come in hitting at .267 as a club with a 4.12 ERA. Twins are 32-36 on the road. They just got their fannies kicked by Cleveland. 6 games they played them the last 2 weeks, and they were 0 for 6. That surprised me.
It did. Well, Minnesota has only one winning record against Central teams this year, and of course, it's against the Sox. 7-5 against the Sox this year. Everybody else they have a losing record against in the Central, including Kansas City.
And another foul back. And here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line. 375 in the gaps and 400 straightaway center. Tyner has faced Javi 17 times. He has 3 hits. Make it 4. So he fouls off 3 or 4 pitches. Gets one he can handle. And one of the little piranhas, as he calls them.
Tyner could just be what you'd call a really, really, really late bloomer at the professional level. He was great in college. First-round pick of the New York Mets back in the day, and maybe this season is his open-up season. He gets a chance to play a little bit more, and he's taking advantage, hitting close to 300, and who knows what it leads to.
Here's Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, hitting at .274, 5 homers. He's driven in 40. He is 4 for 17 lifetime off Javi. Bartlett, 27 years old. Another one of the piranhas. Punto playing second, hitting ninth tonight. Another one. Outfield slightly to the left. And there's a base hit just off the glove of Danny Richard.
Well, it wasn't for lack of trying for Richard, that's for sure. Ball was a little inside-out slice job away from him. He's got that little slide away from him. Danny almost able to get enough glove on it and make the play.
So here's the man who's having himself a big year and is coming at the right time. Not Gardenhire. Torii Hunter. Torii at .291, 27 homers, 97 driven in. And that's back through the middle and center field. So Bartlett on his way to third as Tyner crosses home plate, and it is 1-0 Minnesota.
Well, they have wasted no time. I mean, just bam, bam, bam. 1-0. They're not doing it the heroic way, swinging for the fences. They're just putting the bat on the ball and rounding the bases. Torrey trying to get to that 100 RBI mark as quick as possible, and that's just drive him in from scoring position.
So here's Justin Morneau. He's been swinging a rather warm bat. He's hitting .280 on the season, 29 homers and 99 driven in. So Bartlett at third base could be number 100. But in his last 12 ball games, Morneau has hit .370, 8 homers, and in his last 12 games driven in 23. Last year's MVP. And there's a nice pick by Richard. They're going to get Hunter at second. So, indeed, Morneau picks up his 100th RBI as Bartlett scores, and it's 2-0 Twins. Nice play for Danny.
Well, Danny having to work hard to his left and right so far in this ball game. And this time making a great play to the backhand side, making sure he holds on to it, the flip. Uribe not trying to do too much, just catch it and get the out.
Right fielder Mike Cuddyer at .276, 13 homers and 72 driven in. Cuddyer 10 for 27 lifetime against Javi with a homer. Outfield spread out for the 28-year-old outfielder, former infielder.
Cuddyer's numbers off quite a bit compared to last season, where he had 109 runs batted in, 24 homers. It'd be tough to match those numbers in the power category. Also in the doubles, 24 doubles this year. Last season he had 41.
Got off to a big start. As there's a breaking ball strike. So the count 2-1. First of a 3-game set, first of a 9-game homestand. 3 with these guys, 3 with Cleveland, and 3 with the Angels. Ball's hit hard but foul. Well, we have a moment. A big White Sox shout out to a very special guest at the ballpark tonight, Lieutenant Danny Hollandona, fighter pilot in the United States Navy. Had 3 tours over in Iraq, getting ready to go back for a 4th.
Pleasure meeting him, I tell you.
Sir.
Meeting Danny but looking at him, he's one wide man. That fitness plenty must be pretty snug for him.
Got some shoulders on him, doesn't he?
Yes.
One out, full count. There goes the runner. There's a strike him out. And a throw him out. He gone. But they come up with a pair after winning a half inning of play. It's the Twins 2 and the good guys coming to bat.
Let's take a look right now at Ozzie Guillen's White Sox batting order, brought to you by Southwest. It's Owens, Fields, Thome, Konerko, Pierzynski, Erstad, Uribe, Richard, and Gonzalez. Carlos Silva, 11-13, a .434 earned run average, .284 batting average against him. And the Rico defensive setup for Minnesota: Tyner, Hunter, Cuddyer, Boucher, Bartlett, Punto, Morneau, Heinz behind the plate.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. Jerry hitting at .241. First pitch from the big right-hander. Carlos Silva, 28 years old, 6'4", 246 pounds, out of Bolivar in Venezuela. Making his 29th start. Got off to a real bad April and part of May. He has made a comeback. Danny 1 for 3 lifetime off of him. That ball hit hard into center field. Torrey Hunter's got a long way to go. He can't get there. So Jerry now is going to pull up at second with the leadoff double. That's his 7th two-bagger.
Well, that's a good way to beat a defensive setup. If Gold Glover Torrey Hunter can't get to you, that means he was way shifted another direction. That's hit almost straight away center field, and Torrey gets close, but he has to wait till it stops after hitting that fence before picking it up.
Josh takes it down low. Josh 2 for 6 lifetime off Silva. On the season, Josh hitting at .235, 18 homers, 54 knocked in. Sox come in hitting at .243 as a club with a 4.90 ERA. Sox are 29-37 here at US Cellular Field.
Right here, Josh needs to just make sure it's not about him in this situation. He's got to massage the ball the other way, get him over there.
Broken bat, but it's going to get the job done.
It's not pretty, but the results are good.
All right, right now let's check out our text message poll question. When will Jim Thome hit his 500th career home run? This homestand, final road trip, last week of the season, next season. Text A, B, C, or D to 65295. That's 65295. And here's the big man, 5 for 16 lifetime off Silva with 3 homers. And there's a base hit. They did not have the shift on. So he picks up RBI number 74, and it's a 2-1 ball game.
Boy, do you know how happy Jim Thome has to be? Look at him. He's very happy because there wasn't a shift on for a change, taking a hit away from him. They would have been able to drive in the run either way, but he picks up the hit. That has been an out for him for so long now.
So here is Konerko. Probably a 262, 27 homer, 75 driven in, and there's a shot off of Silva's behind. He looks to second, got time, he goes to first. 2 down. Got him right in the right spot.
Well, Silva's got some padding back there. He's a big man. And Paulie's not real happy, of course. He's trying to hit it back up the middle like Torrey Hunter did. And he's got a big body in the way, taking a hit away from him. He just turns the backside to it. And that's a smart move on Silva's part, because that's where some meat is.
I'm surprised he had enough time. That was a shot off the bat of Paulie.
Well, you remember how those reactions were when you were out on that mound, Harrelson, and they'd hit a smash back at you, and just automatically your reflexes take over and you can get out of the way or make the play.
When I was on the mound, they didn't hit any smashes.
Like I was saying, you remember how that is. I'm sorry, that was a while ago. You might, because if you don't remember the smashes coming back at you.
As I said, I'll reiterate it. They didn't hit any smashes.
I remember those friends of yours coming up here before telling me a totally different story.
Now you're creating and manufacturing like one of the Heine Bird. So here is A.J. That ball hit hard into right field, right at Kadire. That's a hang woofum. But Tony drives in the run, and after one, it is Minnesota by 1. Well, look what happened during the break. Love is in the air here at US Cellular Field. And this real-life crosstown classic proposal was brought to you by Robbins Brothers, world's biggest engagement ring store. And certainly our congratulations go out to Tom and Liz.
Congratulations.
Yes. Garrett Jones will lead it off here in the top of the second. Garrett has 8 hits since being called up. 1 RBI. Softly hit. Bobbled. Plenty of time. And Javi right where he should be. So 1 out.
Jam shot down to Paulie, and you don't see that very often. Took his eye off of it just a little bit, but Javi doing what he's supposed to, being there for his first baseman.
Here's Brian Busher, third baseman, 26 years old, 10 for 37 since being called up. Looks at that one low and away. Top of the 4th in Baltimore, 3-0 Boston. Rain delay in Detroit where they lead Seattle 3-1. Yankees did not score in the first at Kansas City. Bottom of the 6th in Pittsburgh, 4-0 Pirates over the Cubs. 1-2 the count. Cincinnati leading Milwaukee, bottom of the 4th inning, 10-0. Later on, St. Louis taking on the D-backs at Big Bob. He gone.
The White Sox Charities Legacy Brick is the perfect holiday gift for your favorite White Sox fan. Place your brick order today to receive your complimentary replica brick in time for the holiday season. For more information, visit whitesox.com or call 866-WSOX-BRK.
Chris Heinz, 7 for 34 on the season. Takes first pitch strike. Chris, brother of Bobby, Bob Heinz, who plays on the tour. That's in the right field. Nice inning. That didn't take long for Vasquez after an inning and a half. 2-1 Twinkies. You had Chicago Sports News Nightly on Land Rover Sports Night. Coming up tonight after Sox Post Game Live, Bears versus Chargers preview, National League Central race. So join Gail and Luke for Land Rover Sports Night tonight after Sox Post Game Live, only on Comcast Sportsnet, a fan's best friend. Darren Erstad hitting at .257, 3 homers, 28. Knocked in, will lead it off. Erstad 11 for 28 lifetime with a homer off Carlos Silva. Takes that pitch low. Outfield around to the left. And the count 2-0. Juan Uribe on deck and Danny Richard in the hole. There's a good pitch on a 2-0 count. Yeah, that last 2 weeks, Minnesota getting swept by Cleveland in those 2-3 game series was a big shocker.
Well, matter of fact, they are on a 7-game losing streak against Cleveland.
Well, you know, when you beat Johan Santana 5 times in a season, you should be in front of these guys. Full count.
Johan Santana, first and foremost, losing 5 times to a team over a couple of years is going to be astonishing enough. But then to see that they beat him 5 times in this season, what I've heard is basically he's just been leaving some changeups up and Cleveland's hitting them.
Well, there are some teams that are not going to beat him 5 times in his career.
And also, there's some teams that he can say his changeup's coming, and they're still not going to hit it. This is what Silva does, throw strikes. 11 of them, 4 balls.
And the payoff. And another souvenir. Chopper, Punto can't get there. So with leadoff man at first, let's check out our Heineken picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, our director and the crew, went with AJ, Robin, Aiden, Tatum, DJ, going with Darren Erstad, and Lieutenant Danny Hollendorner and myself. Naval pilot. Getting ready, I should say, to go back to Iraq. We're going to go with Jim Thome, who has an RBI single. Here's Uribe. Juan has had pretty good success against Carlos Silva. 34 bats, 17 hits.
Well, you would have to put that in the category of owning the guy.
And of the 17 hits, 13 of them have stayed in the park.
And I'm just going to go out there on a limb and say Uribe hasn't owned a lot of pitchers.
And that is out of play right side. 0-1 the count to Uribe.
One thing that Juan's got to be very pleased with when he faces Silva is he knows he's going to get strikes. And Juan is going to swing. He doesn't take many pitches, so pitches are going to be right around the home plate for him to attack. And better chance for success for him.
Good eye right there. 1-1. Outfield spread out, not equidistant, and shaded slightly to the left. Way back, stretch. He looks up. You can put it on the board.
Yes.
Fifth home run career off Silva, and the Sox lead it 3-2. Number 100 in his career.
Very nice. Again, if you're going to own a pitcher, you're going to go up there and take your hacks. And Juan's doing that against Silva. He gets a high splitter, it looked like. Pops it up. It just kept going and going. Very nicely done. And the Sox with the lead.
Danny Richard takes strike one. And he had 208, 4 homers, 10 RBIs. Just off the inside corner, 1-1.
Juan Uribe. His teammates love him.
16 homers now, 55 RBIs. And, of course, with that home run by Juan Uribe, the Alex Nelius family will donate $100 to White Sox charities for every Sox homer hit throughout the course of the season. That is number 158, so $15,800 donated by Alex Nelius in loving memory of Ursula. That's into center field. Corey Hunter going back. Right in front of the 400-foot marker. Makes the catch.
I thought that ball got in on Danny a little bit, but somehow he got his body out of the way and hit it pretty solid. And Torrey softening everything up right when he was getting to that ball. He was running pretty hard, and because he had to lean back, that's when you have to make sure your hands and your feet are real soft so you don't lose that one and hit it off the end of the glove or the hand.
Andy Gonzalez, first ball hunting, pops it up, short right field. Kadire takes charge. So 2 down.
Pitchers that throw a lot of strikes and don't walk many, and actually it's a lot of walks for Silva in comparison to other years, 33 of them on the year, but generally they give up a lot of hits, and that is because everybody realizes they're going to be throwing strikes, so they live with that. They live with giving up the hits rather than the free passes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Jerry Owens doubled and scored last inning.
He's liked it better at home. You need to see that. Better routine for him at home than on the road. That's really all that says.
Two out, the 0-2 pitch. Just off the corner.
In the end, the rubber is 60 feet 6 inches away from home plate in every ballpark. It's just why would on the road or home be a big difference? Well, again, it just falls to the routine.
That's low 2-2. Get him right here, Jerry. Foul.
A conversation between battery mates. I'm sure they're on the same page right here. Now it's always interesting, you know, the catcher run out there and make sure that he and the pitcher are thinking alike and what they want to do to put a hitter down. Instead of the catcher sitting there putting down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and frustrating the pitcher, just go out and talk to him and make sure his mind is right.
Comebacker snabbed by Silva, but the 2-run homer by Juan Uribe will go the third, leading 3-2. And Sunday, get a complete recap of the Bears-Chargers season opener on U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live. Pat Boyle and former Bears Jim Miller, Jerry Azuma, and Dan Jacobs break down all the action. Plus, William Jackson brings you interviews with the players. U.S. Cellular Bears postgame live Sunday immediately after the game, only on Comcast Sportsnet, a fan's best friend. 0-1 the count to Nick Punto, the second baseman. Punto at 198, a homer. He's driven in 22. 3-4-0 for our guys, 2-3-0 for their guys. Ball hit hard into center field. Jerry, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Can't get there. Off the bottom of the fence. So the leadoff double.
Well, Minnesota being extremely aggressive tonight, going after Vasquez. Not wasting much time. Their team, they're not afraid to go deep into some counts generally. Tonight, they are obviously prepared for Vasquez to come at them early in the count and are swinging the bats because of it.
So Jason Tyner fouled off a few pitches and singled, leading off the ball game, and came around to score. Takes ball 1. Andy Gonzalez will be at the cut of the grass by the time the pitch is delivered. Outfield short, swung around to the left.
Well, Jason Tyner's favorite player on the field and away from the field growing up was Brett Butler. So should be no surprise that he's a similar type player and slapping the ball, putting down bunts, which he bunts extremely well. Fair or foul is what you were taught when you were coming up through the minor leagues. You didn't want to bunt it back to the mound. You didn't want it far off the line. Just fair or foul.
They take it off, pops him up. AJ gets rid of the mask. 1 down.
Monday, September 10th, the White Sox host the Indians at 7-Eleven, and it's Motorola MotoCube Monday. Stop by the U.S. Cellular store at U.S. Cellular Field to get the White Sox logo engraved on your Motorola phone and enter for your chance to win nice prizes.
So that'll bring up the shortstop, Jason Bartlett, who also singled just off the end of the glove of Danny Richard, and he also came around to score. Takes that breaking ball down.
You're talking about Lieutenant Danny that was up here before the game, and it's White Sox and USO rally night here. Fans were encouraged to bring packages of new socks to the ballpark to give to injured, battle-wounded soldiers overseas and bring them to the they'd take them to the USO.
Gotta hurry. Good play. Nice peg by Uribe.
So the Sox and the USO getting together for a good cause, and they also handed out dog tags to those that volunteered to bring some socks in here at the ballpark.
Torrey Hunter bounced the single right over the head and over second base. An RBI single. That ball hit deep in the center field. But Jerry's got to bead the ball, and that'll do it. Nothing across, so he leaves the leadoff double by Nick Punto on base.
White Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. And by Ford. Get to your local Ford store today. Ford. Bold moves.
Josh Fields, Jim Thome, Paul Konerko here in the Sox half of the third inning as our Sox lead at 3-2. First of the three-game set. Tomorrow afternoon, Jose Contreras against Matt Garza. And that game will be over Fox if you can't make it to the ballpark. Off the end of the bat. Bobbled by Busher. 1 out. Then in the finale on Sunday afternoon, John Garland against Johan Santana. And that game will be over WGN. Thome knocked in his 74th run with that single. Now they put the shift on. And that ball hit through him.
First time all year long we've seen Jim Thome beat that shift twice in a game.
Well, he didn't have the shift on his first at bat. If they'd had it on, they'd have got it.
See right there, that's still not as far as we see a lot of teams bring their shortstop over and the second baseman towards the line. So it's kind of strange. He hits it in certain areas where they're not tonight. And every time they put that big shift on, he doesn't find the holes.
So Lieutenant Danny Hollandoner's pick to click, 2 for 2 with an RBI. Here's Paulie. Hit a line shot right back at Silva. Hit him right in the butt. Dropped down softly, picked it up, and threw him out. One and one to count. Bottom of the fifth in Baltimore. Red Sox still leading 3-1. Top of the sixth in Detroit. Tigers leading the Mariners 3-1. Yankees leading Kansas City 2-1. Bottom of the second at Kauffman Stadium as there's a strike and the count 1-2. Toronto 6, Tampa Bay nothing. Top of the sixth. down at Tropicana Field. Texas shutting out Oakland 1-0 top of the third down at the ballpark at Arlington. Bottom of the seventh in Pittsburgh. Pirates leading the Cubs 6-1. Off the corner. Top of the sixth at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Marlins leading the Phillies 5-3. At Shea Stadium, bottom of the fifth inning, Mets leading Houston 4-2. Top of the sixth at the Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati leading Milwaukee 10-2. Atlanta leading Washington 5-0. Bottom of the fourth down in Georgia. And a full count. And later on, Cardinals taking on the D-backs at Big Bob, as San Diego will be hosted by the Rockies, and the Dodgers are hosted by the Giants at AT&T. Outfield, equidistant, spread out, and deep.
There's that little splitter that I told you about in the open tonight. If you didn't hear us talking about that, it's been a pitch that has made Silva much more effective as the season has progressed. Little sink to it, little tail. Just enough movement down in the strike zone right when it gets to the plate.
Well, here's A.J. A.J. hit a P right to Micah Dyer in right field. Takes that pitch low. A.J. now 6-for-22 against his former battery mate with a couple of homers. There's a strike. Kansas City, they just tied up the Yankees at 2, still hitting in the bottom of the second. And a count 2-1. Well, in the American League, a lot of leg room for the division leaders. Boston with a 6.5 game lead over the Yankees. Cleveland with a 6-game lead over the Tigers. Angels with an 8-game lead over the Mariners. Different story over in the National League. Mets leading the Phillies by 5. Cubs and the Brewers are tied for first, with the Cardinals just 1 game back, and Arizona on top in the West, 1 game in front of San Diego, 3.5 in front of the Dodgers, and 5.5. Let's check that 5 in front of the Rockies. Count hangs at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This marathon of the season, this is the fun part. Everybody is moving and shaking now, trying to make up some lost ground from earlier struggles, trying to get back in the races or get to that wild card picture. And the ones that have had it pretty good for the longest are the ones sitting up on top.
There's a shot, base hit. Nice piece of woodwork right there by Pierzynski.
Nice job. That's exactly what the left-handers need to do on Silva. As you can see, his ball is running away from him, down and away. If they're going to try and hook him, a lot of the times you end up hitting it off the end of the bat weakly to the right side. Stay on it like A.J. did right there, and you can hit it right on the button.
So here's Darren. A single and a run scored. A lot of movement right there. Catches the outside edge of the outside corner for a strike.
Hey, Darren has had his struggles lately. 4 hits in his last 31 at-bats. And one of the reasons, just what I was mentioning a minute ago, a lot of balls dipping and diving away from him. He's been not staying on him as long as he needs to.
Next pitch will be the 50th for Silva. And the count 2-1. Silva making his 29th start of the year. One more than Vasquez. Silva with 2 complete games and a shutout. High chopper. Morneau will take it. And that will retire the side. We'll go to the 4th, leading by 1.
Time right now for our Aflac trivia question. What Twins hurler was one of 2 AL pitchers to win 20 games in 1991? Twins hurler was one of 2. All right. Things starting off here in the top of the 4th inning, looking pretty good as the Sox lead it 3-2. Justin Morneau to start things off for the Twins. He's 0 for 1 with an RBI. And fastball outside corner for a strike. Justin's 100th run batted in, that ground out back in the 1st inning. Reigning American League most valuable player on a team from last year that just took the AL Central by surprise. Just blew right by the Sox and the Detroit Tigers to win the division and secure the MVP for Morneau. Danny Richard can't reach that one, so it's a little base hit off the end of the bat in the right field for Justin. Michael Kadire was hitting in the 1st. He went down swinging, and Justin Morneau was thrown out trying to steal. It wasn't really a steal attempt. It was supposed to be a hit to protect him. And LoJack is the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. A LoJack caught stealing. Kadire takes it down. Michael Kadire is handicapped in a sense that he does not recognize it anyway. It's never bothered him, but he's deaf in his left ear. He doesn't really acknowledge that, though. Hey, it's never bothered me. It's no handicap. 2-0. Swinging it well in his last 13 games at a 300 clip. 276 on the season. Way in, Kadire, former first rounder for these Twins. Got some big money out of high school. Passed up an opportunity to play at Florida State. Ball 4. He'll take his base. 2 aboard with nobody out here in the 4th. So Javi throwing strikes through the first 3, gave up 2 quick runs as Minnesota attacked him right out of the gate with 3 straight hits and a ground out to get those 2 runs. And from there, Vasquez has pretty much been in control until things get a little loose on him right here in this inning. Now he's going to face Garrett Jones. Jones, who made his major league debut earlier this year, just hitting at 182. And it's another ball outside the strike zone. You see a visit from Don Cooper here pretty quick if another ball is thrown. Jones made his major league debut on 5/15. Cleveland rips that one foul. That'll let Don Cooper sit there a little bit longer on that bench now. See Coop Ozzie, razor shines. Big man is Jones, 6'4", 227. They've got him listed. And he takes that off the corner.
He's got some pop.
Had some home runs in the minor leagues, didn't he?
'21 last year, 24 the year before, 31 the year before, 18 the year before. Yeah.
Well, read something where he could put on a show in batting practice. He could get him a real long way. That's into center field. Hustling to it in a hurry is Owens, being waved home is Morneau. The throw into third base. It is a 3-3 game. The throw behind the runner at first. No play. And into third is Kadire. So what looked to be an opportunity to catch the Twins with some bad base running turns into be an opportunity for them to now have runners on first and third and nobody out.
Well, there's a good piece of hitting. He just goes down and get it. Now, Jerry may have had a shot at Morneau, but he decides to go to third, which was okay. Now, by this time, Jones is well around and rounding first. There you see Andy. But now Danny comes up and now cannot tag him. Gets just a step too far in on the infield, and everybody is safe.
Yeah, that's one of those fortunate plays for Jones over at first, where he was out wide rounding the bag. And you saw that Danny Richard was making sure he kept an eye on the runner heading into third and realized he had no play there. Let's go ahead and put the tag on him. And by then it was too late. Jones was getting back.
Just one step too far on the infield.
So now Busher fouls it off, and the count now 0-2.
Watch him when he catches the ball. Watch Danny right here. He's okay. And now he takes that other step. Too late.
So Kadire taking it to Richard. That throw across the infield. Michael Kadire had stopped. He was a couple of steps off of second base. Once he saw that throw go to first, he took off. Can't check it up. So Busher is out of there with the first out of the inning, stranding the man at third base and leaving him there for Chris Hines to try and bring home. Sox will be looking for the double play with the Minnesota Twins catcher hitting. He's only grounded into one this year, but he has not had many opportunities to hit either. Jones over on first. Just one stolen base attempt, and he was thrown out in that one. Jones driving in his second major league run. Big swing, no contact, 0-1. Vasquez with a nice breaking ball right there to get ahead. Javi has lost his last two decisions to drop below 500 in his career. 111 wins now, 113 losses. Fouled down, 0-2. Javi, a strikeout man, that's for sure, and he can get him when he needs him.
Well, this is a place he needs one right here. And after fouling that pitch down like that, hitters just maybe not consciously think about it, but in the back of their mind, All of a sudden, the last thing they want to see is another pitch tailing inside.
Well, that's the thing. They start to protect that area thinking that's where it's going to go, and it opens up a whole lot of the plate for you.
Oh, about 4 or 5 inches more.
It down to past a diving Andy Gonzalez at third base into left field, making it a 4-3 ball game.
Well, that one just didn't get out there far enough.
So Chris Hines delivers his 6th run batted in on the year. That was just right down the middle. Mistake, mistake, mistake. And Andy not quick enough to get over to it. Number 9 hitter Nick Punto stands in. He went off the center field wall in the 3rd inning for a double. Tough man to double up. He's grounded into 7 this season. Having a tough year with the bat, just hitting .200. And when you're having a tough year with the bat, stacking a couple of hits up in the same game is not that easy. See, he's not done anything with runners in scoring position, putting a lot of pressure on himself, obviously. There's a strike, 2-1. Punto went a stretch of a month from July 23rd to August 23rd between multi-hit games. So when he is getting his hits, they have been hard to acquire, and they have not come in bunches. Chopper, foul. 2-2 the count with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Sox trailing now 4-3. Punto being pushed over to second base. Castillo had been the second baseman. He was traded. Luis Castillo, and now they're mixing and matching, putting other players. Nick Punto normally a second baseman anyway. He had been playing third every day for the Twins. Fouled back. Count remains 2-2. Heath Phillips up in the bullpen. Interesting. Javi used to throwing about 110 to 20 pitches in a game. I don't know if he's just getting some work in or not, but Javi's just thrown 55 pitches in this one so far. Out back again. Pretty good pitch for Punto to hit right there.
Yeah, an off-speed pitch up out over the plate. That's his meat.
Twins trying to pick Javier Vasquez apart. 7 hits through 3 1/3. Tries the changeup, misses. Full count. Tyner on deck. Jason not a big RBI man, as Punto has turned out to have his struggles in these situations himself. Ron Gardenhire not afraid to start the runners in this situation, trying to avoid the double play and anticipate that Punto will put the bat on the ball, even though it's already failed once in this game with a strikeout and a throwout. Not going, and it is a strikeout outside corner. Punto is not happy. Nasty changeup, tailing away, a lot of movement. Ed Hickox, the home plate umpire, let everybody know he was sure it was a strike. Slider in, misses. Tyner, three-time All-American in college. Academic All-American as well. This kid had to hit the books growing up. Right on the hand. Javi helps himself out right there, makes the play. 2 cross home play for the Twins. They regain the lead. It's now 4-3. And time right now to have a look at our Aflac trivia question, and its answer will follow. What Twins hurler was one of 2 AL pitchers to win 20 games in '91? Was it Morris? Scott Erickson. Oh, Scott Erickson. Boy, I tell you what, you talk about wicked nasty. He had about as good a sinker, those all black socks he would wear. And Scott Erickson was some kind of tough to hit. Yeah, there was Bill Gullickson that year. He comes straight from the baseball encyclopedia mind of Dave Ross. Juan Uribe, 2-run home run off of Silva. Silva's going to have nightmares about Juan Uribe.
Gullickson hails from right down the road. Joliet.
Romeo and Joliet.
Romeo's not too far from there. Romeoville.
Yeah, I knew you got it. Finally. 2-2 count. Nobody out here for Uribe.
Keep trying, DJ. You'll get there one of these days.
Money now 18 hits and 35 at bats. Is it 19 as that's hit deep into left center field, and at the warning track, Tyner makes the play.
Right in front of old aches and pains.
Fans make every home game a ballpark double play at U.S. Cellular Field this season with 2 ballpark hot dogs for the price of 1 at the All-Star concession stands during the first hour after the gates open. That brings up Danny Richard. Danny, he had won a ton to straightaway center field. Torrey Hunter ran it down in front of the 400-foot mark. Now when he chops down into the Twins dugout. Danny's just going to keep growing with experience at this level. He may turn out to be the silent assassin for the Sox. Somebody that you just forget about, and he sneaks up and just keeps beating you with his solid play all around. That's fouled back, and the count remains 0-2. Pretty much right there, folks, what you see, that very quiet man. The way he is, that shot out towards Tyner, and he's fighting the lights and makes the play. Number 9 hitter Andy Gonzalez popped to short right field in the second inning. Andy hitting at .205, a couple of homers, 11 driven in. Andy getting tons of playing time this year. Mostly in the outfield. Position that he has just picked up the last couple of years just because the possibility of him being thrown out there in the future. Carlos Silva coming over from the Phillies. Gives him some innings every year, that's for sure. Not far off from 185 innings, which he's done for 7 straight years, at least 185 innings pitched. Way outside, and they count 2-2.
Again, he started off so poorly this year. Boy, has he really regrouped.
Outside edge gets Andy Gonzalez, and the Sox are going to head to the field trailing by 1. Time right now to have a look at our Felco White Sox upcoming schedule. The next 5 games. 2 more right here at home against the Twins before the Indians head into town and start a series on Monday. And folks, I am witnessing something that you wish that you could truly see. My partner trying to open a box, and only took him 5 minutes. Wow.
What good is what's inside if you can't get the dadgum thing open?
I don't know, my friend. That was quite the entertainment between innings. Thank you. Oh, man, if you folks only knew what happened in between innings here.
Adult proof.
As the count goes to 1-1 on Jason Bartlett, who's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Don't start, Jim Angio. Jim Angio's reminding us about his problems even turning on the computer. My partner insists from now on all computer makers must put the words on, off on their computers so he knows where to go. They prefer he stay away from them. Breaking ball misses, and the count goes to 2-2. Bartlett at .315 the last 38 games. It's about finishing strong when you're not in a pennant race of any kind or a playoff contention. Goes through the fastball. Vasquez picking up his 5th strikeout of the evening. Harvey has that way of just kind of lulling the hitter to sleep and then reaching back, and you see he just blows it right by Bartlett. He just gives you a little bit extra with the fastball and the life on it too. Torrey Hunter takes that fastball with a little extra on it to get ahead for a strike. Torrey an RBI single in the 1st. Out of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Quickly 0-2. Torrey Hunter is one of those feel-good stories growing up as a kid in poverty in a bad neighborhood to one of those infectious smiles that carries throughout his team. If he's having a good time, so do the rest around him. Big swing there, gets a piece of it. Slips down when he did it. See Torrey's feet, both of them, when he was fouling that pitch off, seemed to come off the ground. Losing his footing. A lot of teams interested in Hunter, who's going to be a free agent after this season.
Yeah, he's going to make a lot of money.
Well-earned money. He shows up to play. Always has. And he's one of those guys that always will. And give him the contract and know he's going to be there. Goes a little too far, says Ed Hickox, the home plate umpire. 2 down. Side look. Just had that barrel of the bat drift out in front of home plate on him, and Pierzynski put the tag on him to further make the point that he went. Change up down to Morneau. Justin Morneau has terrorized the Sox over the past few years. He's just killed them. And that ball is ripped down into the corner, and he continues to torture the Sox. He's going to have to pull up with a single as it caroms off the wall and right to Erstad hustling over. Ball hit well too hard for Justin Morneau to do anything other than stop at first base.
There's a shot right here you could have hung out all the drawers in Cook County on.
Onacondo.com helping Erstad out right there. In a small area of padding. And it's there to help him. And Vasquez. There's a strike to Cuddyer. Right there, look at that. All that wire fence that would have killed that ball. All those padded bars would have made it carry him in a strange area, and instead it's perfectly hit off the .com area to the right fielder. Chop to the left of Andy Gonzalez, hops up on him. He can't make the play, so into left field goes the single for Cuddyer. He's now 1 for 2. A strikeout, a walk with a run scored, and now the single.
Ball had a lot of top spin on it. Looked at first like Andy was going to be able to make it. Took that top spin and took off.
Garrett Jones, a stand-in. Big first baseman outfielder, DH, takes it off the inside corner. Jones picked up his second RBI of his major league career in his last at bat.
That ball right there to Andy is one that young guys. Andy normally a shortstop. He has not played one game there. But even Joe Crede, when Joe first got up here, it took Joe a while to learn how to read that topspin, and then once he figured it out, it was all over.
Yeah, it's amazing how comfortable you become in your surroundings as a big leaguer. And you don't put pressure on yourself. You just make those plays. It's just nonchalant. Here I go again. I got it.
Joe's one of the best I've ever seen at reading the topspin.
The 1-1 off the corner, 2-1. Joe Crede, I've said it with regularity now. He's the best third baseman I've been around in my career, day in and day out. I've played with some good third basemen as his teammates and watched a few come through, but Joe Crede to me is as good as I've seen.
He is a good one.
There's a strike, 2-2.
And what happens too, of course, to Josh Fields, who was playing third base earlier, and now Andy, who's been playing over there a lot, Centron, whoever goes over there. We have just become so accustomed to Joe making all the plays that when a play is not made, it's magnified because of the perception we have of seeing Crede make all those plays.
Oh, no question. Spoiled. And good pitch by Vasquez right there to set down Jones, and he leaves two stranded, heads to the dugout looking for some offense.
Whistle blows. Hawk, DJ, back to you.
All right, Chucky G, thank you very much. Trying to put down the bunt is Jerry Owens, and Silva helping himself out, getting off that mound in a hurry and making the play and getting the first out here in the bottom of the 5th inning in this 4-3 ball game. Another look is Jerry trying to make something happen, and again not getting it hard enough past that pitcher. Got to make the second baseman field it.
He'll go. As long as he keeps trying and practicing, he will finally get it.
Oh yeah.
But you got to be bad before you can be good, and it takes time to learn how to become a real good drag bunter or a push bunter. And Jerry certainly has that ability, as we talked about. Just 5 of those a month. Doesn't sound like a whole bunch. And really it's not to a good bunter, but 5 of those a month, and is going to add 60 points at the end of the year onto his batting average.
Do you ever get a bunt hit in your entire life?
Never.
You've seen a lot of them, though, huh?
Oh, yeah. And it's interesting, you know, talking to guys over all these years who were really good enough to where they piqued your interest on their technique and discussing what their thought process was. Very seldom, the irony of the whole thing is when you're talking to all these guys, very seldom they have the same thought process. It's like a fingerprint. They're all different. It's not so much like in trying to make a sacrifice bunt where there is a more definitive technique. That ball was absolutely scalding. Well, that ball comes off his bat in a special way.
Oh, it does. He throws those hands, those wrists and hands. He uses them so much in his swing. He has got some snap at the ball.
Yeah, when that head of that bat turns over, it is moving. Big time.
Well, here's a man that can snap it through the zone. Jim Thome snaps it through, comes up empty. Jimmy is 2 for 2, a couple of singles with an RBI.
Yeah, that's one reason he's got 495 home runs, because in his career, besides being just a man Mountain Dean of strength, he also had those quick hands.
Bouncer quickly 0-2.
Five more to 500.
Jim Thome with the 1-2 count, and our text message poll had little to do with whether Jimmy would reach the 500 this year or not. Not on this at bat. He's not getting closer as it's shattered, and now to second base, and that throw pulls Morneau off the bag, so Jimmy's safe at first. The out at second is made.
What's this, Matt Batacola? Absolutely. Well, we're getting used to it now. These maple bats, but just absolutely unreal.
Wouldn't be surprised at all if in the next couple of few years we see some changes to what type of wood can be used by the players. Those bats, I mean, that's a lethal weapon flying through the air. They end up in the seats. They end up towards the pitchers, shatter off and hit the catchers, the umpires.
Well, the catchers and the umpires are the two guys that I'm surprised, and knock on wood, it's not going to happen. There's a strike, a good pitch by Silva. Paulie didn't think so. And I don't blame him. But they are the most vulnerable. It's not the pitcher. The people who are the most vulnerable are the catcher and the umpires and the fans.
It goes back to Steve Yeager when he caught a shattered bat in the throat.
He was in the on-deck circle.
I mean, that's just.
But that was not a maple bat.
No,
that was an ash.
Amazing.
Yeager was tough enough just to pull it out and say, let's go.
Oh, yeah. Paulie going after the off-speed down, and the count 1-2. Paulie not feeling it so far, as you can tell by his body language. He walks far away from the batter's box, slams that bat against his spikes, and he's thinking, trying to figure out how to catch up to Silva. He's now 0 for 2 with a shot back off of his booty. Picked it up, threw him out, and a strikeout. There's that splitter, and it is a ball.
Well, they tell us that the splitter was a pitch that more or less resuscitated Silva this year after that horrible start he got off to. Even though they worked on it hard in spring training, just was not working for him early on. Lately it has been, but it's the same thing as Freddie Garcia for us last year. When he didn't have his fastball, started throwing the splitter again, and all of a sudden, poof. 17-game winner.
Yep. got to adjust. You got to be able to figure it out. And if it takes, while you're a big league player, figuring it out while you're here, if you're struggling, and it is what it is. Eventually, if it works out good, you're helping your team. But if you're struggling, you got to make some kind of changes.
That was a good eye by Paul. Good take right there. After the first pitch of the sequence was called a strike, it was off the plate, well off the plate outside.
A 3-2 count with 2 outs. Thome on the move, and he raises that foot. Chop towards the middle. Bartlett to his left. He's got to go over to first base. He does, and gets the outs. The Sox trail at 4-3. And Jim Thome is this month's recipient of the Roberto Clemente Award, presented by the United States Marine Corps. Time now to remember Roberto and his accomplishments. Question of the day is from Mike of Indianapolis. Why aren't there any big league pitchers that feature the screwball these days? Well, Mike, there are just a few. There are a couple that still do it. Matter of fact, Minnesota has one pitcher that throws the screwball.
Jim Mercier was a guy who threw a lot of screwballs in recent times. But Mike Page, I've got a cousin named Mike Page.
Bring back good memories, I hope.
Yeah, but boy, there were some good screwballs in the past. Mike Cuellar of the Baltimore Orioles had a great screwball. The best right-handed screwball, I guess you got to say, went to Mike Marshall.
Well, Minnesota has Dennis Reyes, who fashioned his pitching style after Fernando Valenzuela. That's high into right center field. Jerry Owens taking charge. Center fielder. He gets to do that. He makes the play.
Well, one of the best right-handed screwballs I've ever seen pitched for Minnesota and among a number of other clubs as well. His name was Ray Moore. And it was, I'll tell you what, if you didn't see it, it's hard to describe how it was. Fernando Valenzuela maybe had as good as there ever was.
I would have to say so, but it is really one of the only couple that I ever saw. And Fernando's was like a right-handed curveball from a lefty. So when you talk about screwballs and you're not talking about personality-wise, there haven't been a whole lot of recent years. Andy Gonzalez handles that one. The throw off the mark. Andy picking up his 5th error. And he had a little slip prior to his setting to throw that ball, which sometimes just messes your timing up a bit. And right there, Paul Konerko was trying, watch right here, little slip. Sometimes that messes your whole rhythm and timing up, and it pulled Paulie off the base.
Getting back to Ray Moore, he played for our Sox back in 58, 59, and 60. Then went on to Minnesota when I faced him, and I mean, it was awesome.
Right-handed screwball, huh?
Yeah, if you didn't know better, you'd have thought it was an unbelievable spitter. They went the same way all the time.
Generally, I mean,
but it didn't have that rotation.
Screwball pitchers only throw it to the opposite side hitter. There goes the runner, and it's the hit and run fouled back. So Heinz, not someone who's going to be running on his own. You definitely know a play is on when he takes off. Reaching on that error makes him 1 for 3 with an RBI. Nick Punto, strikeout victim in the 4th after hitting the double in the 3rd, and he didn't like third strike called on him. He did not agree with it. One and two. Punto loves to play golf during the off seasons. Lives down in Arizona in the winter. Great place to play golf during the winters, that's for sure.
It's okay.
Sure beats the alternative.
No. No, not at all.
Count remains 1-2.
Hard to beat Florida.
Well, basically, you have two real true options during the winter to continue to play golf with superb weather. When I say that, it's truly really out west, but I guess Florida, so I've heard, is adequate. Strike three again on Punto. 2 down. On Friday, September 14th, the White Sox host the Angels, and it's halfway to St. Patrick's Day, presented by Miller Lite with Irish entertainment throughout the game. Plus, the first 20,000 fans aged 21 and older receive green White Sox caps from Miller Lite. Ah, yes, the luck of the Irish. Just ask the leprechaun, Mike Leary.
Is Nicole still babysitting?
Oh, yeah. Careful with that pet monkey. He bites. Outside, off the corner, 1-0. Jason Tyner. He set a record in college for most hits in a career, over 300. He became the first-round pick for the Mets back in the day. Hasn't really worked out for him as well success-wise at the big league level, but here he is still playing. Give credit when credit is due. Yeah, he played down at Texas A&M. Had 307 hits. 3-year All-American. Broke some former big leaguers' numbers in college, and that was Scott Livingston and Chuck Knobloch. They surpassed the numbers they had in college. That's slap foul, 1-2. Jason drafted 1998. The first round by the Mets. A pretty darn good amount of money. And he first played in the big leagues with the Mets in 2000, just a couple of years later. And he was traded to the Devil Rays that same year. Two and two with 2 down. Heinz over on first. Want that man leading off next inning, Javi. Tyner's not gonna kill you with his power, that's for sure. Over 1,000 at-bats in the big leagues before hitting his first big league home run. And that is ripped in the hole into right field. Chris Heinz digging for third, gets by Darren Erstad. The throw into second is quick enough to keep Tyner from advancing. So no error on Erstad and right. But runners on the corners now and 2 outs. First time this year that Javi's allowed 10 hits or more. That pitch is up. Tyner just smacks down hard on it and beats it into the ground. And Javi has really been so consistent this season. And right there, Erstad, that's about as quick a recovery as I've ever seen a guy make. And keeping a speedy runner from taking an extra base. Tyner is very quick. Doesn't steal bases, but he has the speed to. Only 8 bags and 11 tries this year. Bartlett takes it up and out of the zone. He's 1 for 3 with a run scored. Bartlett out of California. Laid back personality has. Takes the ball high, 2-2. Matter of fact, he's so laid back when he first reached the big leagues. Ron Gardenhire felt he needed to take charge a little bit more. He ended up playing the minor leagues before being recalled and being a little more energetic out there at shortstop. There's a strike. 2-1. Ron Gardenhire thinks his shortstop needs to be a little more outgoing, a little more vocal, taking charge, being the captain of that infield. And Bartlett was put to task, and he accepted it, and is now the everyday shortstop without question. And misses the corner, 3-1.
Strike on Konerko.
There goes the runner, and that ball lifted into center field. Jerry Owens tracking it rather easily, and he makes the play. So 2 stranded. Vasquez still looking for some offense to back him up and get him a lead.
After the game, stay tuned for USA White Sox postgame live. You'll see all the highlights, get Bill Melton's analysis, plus listen in on Ozzie Guillen's postgame remarks. Those are always interesting. So don't miss USA White Sox postgame live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, a fan's best friend.
4 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Twins. 3-7-1 for the Sox. Pierzynski leading it off. Takes the sinker down. AJ is 1 for 2. Lined out in the first inning to right field and hit a shot back up the middle in the 3rd inning. That's going to reach the seats, 1-1.
Final from Comerica Park. Tigers beat the Mariners 6-1. Final from PNC. Pirates beat the Cubs 6-1.
High chop down to Morneau. Stands his ground to make sure that it didn't get in the lights on him. And yes, third and first base, high choppers have a tendency to get in the lights here. And US Cellular presents Win a Jersey Wednesdays. Every Wednesday home game, fans can win one of 15 jerseys autographed by White Sox players and coaches. Tickets are still available for Wednesday, September 12th, when the White Sox play the Indians. Just call 866-SOX-GAME or visit whitesox.com to get your tickets. Right there is that fastball for a strike.
With that Tiger victory over the Mariners, Tigers now 2 games back. Or I should say 2.5 games back of the Yankees as this bobble recovered, throws him out. Yankees, as we speak, hitting in the top of the 6th at Kansas City, tied at 2. And there's the updated wild card right there. So they move, Tigers move a game in front of the Mariners. And a big game in Kansas City.
Juan Uribe hit a 2-run home run in the second and fly to left field deep in his other at bat.
And they are just getting underway in Arizona after 1 inning, no score, as they host the Cardinals.
Uribe hitting .500 in his career against Silva. That's pretty good. Not just 2 for 4 either. 18 hits.
5 home runs. But we need another.
Bouncer up the middle, and Uribe continues to torment Carlos Silva. And let's take a look at our Dodge drive of the game right here off of the bat of Juan Uribe in the second. His 100th career home run. And it also put the Sox ahead at that point, 3-2. Needing a little more as they trail it now 4-3. Danny Rashard, he's hit it pretty well twice. Once to deep center field, the other time out to left pretty hard, but he's 0 for 2. Big swing, no contact, 0-2 the count. Sox kept Danny Rashard down at the minor leagues long enough to get a real good read on him. They already felt pretty good once they acquired him from Arizona. Until he arrived at Charlotte AAA, he hit the ball hard with regularity, and then he was promoted after the Iguchi trade. Matt Guerrero is up for the Minnesota Twins.
He's done a number on us this year. And last year had a couple of real good outings.
Now Ron Gardenhire, he's hard to sneak up on. If he gets a chance to get to that bullpen, he's going to use it to his advantage. There goes Uribe. He stops after a couple of steps. There is Gardy, they call him. .552 winning percentage. One of the few managers to be given an opportunity to manage and take his team to the playoffs, win a division 3 straight years, his first 3 years as manager.
No, he's in the top echelon. There's no question about that. There's really, from what he's done, there's really nobody better. There's some as good, but nobody better.
Hits the mound and kicks left and helps Bartlett out. If it doesn't, it's probably a single up the middle. So Rashard, some bad luck. One stranded, and the Sox still trail at 4-3. Here we are in the top of the 7th inning, and it's a 4-3 contest.
We've got to find a way to hold these guys and then go get some points. Torrey Hunter, Justin Morneau, Mike Kadire, the heart, the iron of this Minnesota order. Hunter 1 for 3 with an RBI. First pitch, fastball, strike. Bit of a gap out there in left center. We'll send out our condolences to Charles and Mamie Johnson on the loss of her brother Calvin Flowers of Maywood. Big Sox fans, our condolences. Has that pitch low and away. 2-1.
Torrey Hunter sitting on 98 runs batted in, the same number he had last year. He had a career high 31 home runs in that season.
And that's out of play to even the count at 2. Boston hitting in the top of the 9th at Baltimore, leading 4-0. 4-0 Carmines over the Orioles, top of the 9th. And another souvenir. Final from Tampa Bay, 7-2 Blue Jays. Texas shutting out Oakland 5-0, top of the 7th, down at the ballpark at Arlington. That was Kevin Slowey. Talking about Matt Guerrero last inning when he was up. This year he has given up no runs against us in 7 1/3, and in those 7 1/3 we have 1 hit. Minnesota just keeps stacking those guys up down in that bullpen.
Definitely match up great against the Sox.
And Polly right off his glove. So the leadoff single.
And right now, let's take a look at the Panasonic Plasma replay. It was a defensive play by Torrey Hunter. Danny Richard hit one deep into center field. Had a long way to go. And the Gold Glover just drifts back in front of the fence and makes the play.
Justin Morneau is 2 for 3 tonight with an RBI. Drove in his 100th back in the first inning. So Javier Vasquez will depart. Mike Myers comes on, and we'll be back. Javi gave up 2 in the first, 2 in the fourth. And right now, Mike Myers on to pitch to Justin Morneau. Shanks that one down to third. Uribe, rack him up. Nice. 5-6-3 double play.
That's right. 5-6-3 double play. You don't see that very often. It's Uribe taking it from a unique direction and did a fine job getting it over to first base.
Swinging at the first pitch, Mike Kadire. That's low and away, way low and away, and the count 1-1. Final from Citizens Bank Ballpark. Marlins beat the Phillies 6-3. I mentioned Pittsburgh beat the Cubs 6-1. The ball hit fairly hard. Meanwhile, Myers comes on, does a good job. 7th inning stretch. We need 1 to tie. Matt Guerrero on the bump in relief of Carlos Silva. And hitting for Andy Gonzalez, Alex Cintron. Guerrero against us has been able to get his curveball over almost every time he wanted to. As I mentioned, 1 hit and 7 1/3 innings of work this year. That ball hit deep. Kadire looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. And this game is tied at 4.
Talking about Guerrero.
First run against him all year, and Cintron with a little extra motivation right there because one of his best buddies is Javi Vasquez, and he just took him off the hook.
That was a powerful swing that just worked out perfectly for Alex.
Ball 1 to Jerry Owens. Jerry doubled in the first and scored. He's 1 for 3.
Well, Alex St. John, since being activated from that restricted list, once the roster's expanded, has found whatever motivation that he needed, and he has been swinging the bat very well.
Well, as we said, it's been a tough year for him. Coming off that surgery, going into spring training, never had a chance to really do that much in the spring. Then he had a couple of problems with health issues to his family.
A lot of distractions.
Yes. All year long.
Well, apparently he has cleared things out of his mind the right way, and he is attacking the ball.
There's a shot base hit into left field, one hopper to Tyner. So good speed aboard, Jerry, with 23 stolen bases in 29 attempts.
Well, Alex St. John wasted no time. He got up there, looked for a sinker, gets out and around it, and he hit it right on the screws. Alex mentioned, his motivation obviously is there. He now has 2 home runs, and both of those have come in the last few games.
So here's Josh Field. He is grounded to short, grounded to third, and then he just ripped one in the hole between third and short for a base hit.
Use what you have. Gary Owens has speed.
Decent lead. He does not go. So Chris Heinz blocks it, keeps it in front of him. And the count 1-0. 34,104 tickets sold.
Of course, Heinz blocking that curveball pretty well right there to pick up Guerrero, but that's one of those times where you'll used to see a lot of base stealers cheating in, looking at the catcher's signs, trying to see if the breaking ball was coming. Get a little extra time to get into second base that way. The old Statue of Liberty.
Well, you get for sure another step. And according to the guy's curveball, sometimes a step and a half to 2 steps more.
Not to mention the fact that you just saw Heinz have to go in the dirt and even block it. Wouldn't have even been a throw. That right there is exactly what Ron Gardenhire wanted to see. If Jerry Owens had any kind of lean whatsoever. And he did.
Double-barreled activity, Collie and Neshek. There he goes. Pitch popped up. Pick it up, Jerry. Come on back.
And nobody letting Moore know.
No, not even from the dugout.
I mean, he's right in front of his own dugout, yes. And you'd think they'd be screaming at the top of their lungs, running down there to help him out. He caught that, looked over and said, oh. And Jerry Owens didn't help himself out too much either. On straight steal, yeah, you see Harold waving him on. You have to pick up the coach. And
that's unbelievable.
There's nobody there in that dugout helping him out. How else is he supposed to know? Owens tried to pick up Razor Shines, and then he's looking around and sees he's got to get back.
That is unreal. That'd be the last club you'd think that would do that. Here's Tomey. 2 for 3 with an RBI. Funny thing about it, if Morneau, if they're screaming at him and letting him know what's going on, he can get in a little better position, take it, throw it, and they're probably going to get it.
That's exactly right. They would have had Owens and Jerry catching a break right there.
Big hack and the count 1-1.
On a couple occasions this season, Jerry Owens has been thrown out trying to steal with Jim Tomey on deck or hitting. And some of the people have talked to him about, hey, look, you've got to make sure that Jim Tomey doesn't, have the bat taken out of his hands. Well, this is not one of those situations. With 1 out, Jimmy's got the bat in his hands no matter what with 1 out.
There he goes. There's the throw, not in time. Number 24 in 30 attempts for Jerry.
So very good to see that Jerry knows the situation. Either he knows it or Harold Baines went and talked to him. And he gets under the tag of Bartlett. Jerry, he does not get what you consider perfect jumps. A little flat-footed. He's got his weight in the center. He needs to have his weight a little more on the right side towards second base. When he gets his jumps, eliminate a little bit of that movement straight up that he has when he takes off. Cost him at least half a step. But good for him with all that tremendous speed. All right, Jerry, let's not see a Steve Lyons right here, okay?
So Rick Anderson out to talk to Guerrero.
Fans this year, when you can't be home to see the White Sox, check out MLB.tv because you can log on to the internet to watch every out-of-market White Sox game of the season live.
And that's a fair ball. Morneau, 2 down with Jerry moving into third. Mike McDougal, 4-11-0 for the Twinkies, 4-10-1 for our Sox. Outfield straight up. Spread out. Well, slightly to the left. And here's Paulie. He's 0 for 3. Breaking ball strike.
Here's Guerrero is Paul Konerko's Terry Mulholland. 0 for 10 in his career, having some problems. I had no chance against Mulholland until one day he threw one at my bat. Let's hope that's the case right here for Paulie. See Ozzie in the background looking at Jerry saying, be ready for the curveball in the dirt.
And that's popped up right side. We get one on the home run. The pinch hit home run by Alex Cintron will go to the 8th, tied at 4.